where exactly do the deadly viruses in the Resident Evil games come from? Resident Evil started out with the focus on zombies, but the saga has since expanded its universe to the subject of biological weapons, and through that, conjured up a variety of viruses that are behind the threats facing Chris, Leon, Jill, and the rest. Progenitor virus. It all started in 1967 with the discovery by doctors Oswald E. Spencer, James Marcus, and Edward Ashford. The discovery of a flower known as Garden of the Sun. This apparently millions of year old plant has African origins and exceptional properties that allow it to augment the physical abilities of humans. The three doctors then established the Umbrella Corporation and began to study the plant. But Spencer had grander ambitions. He wanted to create a new strain of superhumans and saw this plant as the perfect opportunity. The three men would end up creating the progenitor virus, which served as the base for other viruses to come. T-virus. The T-virus, also known as the tyrant virus, was the first to follow the discovery of the progenitor virus and appeared in 1970. While the progenitor virus killed its host without fail, the T-virus kept them alive while increasing their physical strength tenfold and causing irreparable damage to their mental health. That mental damage made the virus's host starving and aggressive and led them to acts of cannibalism. 10 years later, Umbrella came out with the T-002 or Epsilon, which also gave its host superhuman strength and caused less damage to their mental health. The first tyrants appeared on the scene, including the infamous Mr. X. Other variants of the T-virus came out later, including the T-Veronica virus, the T-Abyss virus, which allowed hosts to keep their mental abilities entirely intact, and the T-Phobos virus, which only mutated when hosts were subjected to high levels of stress. G-virus. The G-virus, or Golgotha virus, was created alongside the T-virus. It was first tested out for 30 years on the daughter of the architect of Spencer's home, Lisa Trevor, and appeared highly promising. In addition to giving its host superhuman strength, the virus had incredible capacities for regeneration. The only downside? Mutations were far more extreme than those of the T-virus, and an infected person could quickly transform into something far from human. Las Plagas. Unlike the other viruses, Las Plagas isn't a mutation of the progenitor virus, but was caused by a parasite from Spain and with the capacity to control hosts' minds. First used during the Renaissance and ritual sacrifices, Las Plagas reappeared in 1990, thanks to a certain Sandler who wanted to use it to create biological weapons. Sandler created a cult called Los Illuminados and used it as a site to implant the parasite, creating an army to protect his research and experiments. Ouroboros. Ouroboros was created by Albert Wesker to annihilate the world, and it follows his commands. Only a few subjects were able to correctly assimilate the Ouroboros, and it gave them a speed and power never seen before. Wesker injected himself with the virus, but it didn't stop Chris Redfield and Shiva Alomar from taking him down with RPG blows. C-virus. It was in the 2000s, after the disappearance of Umbrella, that we first saw the C-virus or chrysalid virus. It seems to have all the same characteristics as previous viruses, including strength, self-awareness, and regenerative abilities so powerful that they could bring hosts back to life even years after death. The virus also caused terrifying mutations in some hosts who became giant arms capable of being used as weapons. The end of Resident Evil 6 saw the appearance of a vaccine for the C-virus, which meant that the virus was eradicated from the Saga universe. At least, in theory. The mold. Developed during the 2000s and created from a fungular superorganism, the mold is able to totally control its subject's mind and in a more discreet way than previous viruses. It's perfect for stealth operations and for dismantling organizations from the inside. There is only one host that has been able to perfectly assimilate the mold. A young girl named Evelyn, who derives supernatural powers, including the possibility to hypnotize others, create superpowered monsters, and spread large quantities of the fungus to humans. Evelyn dies at the end of Resident Evil 7, but the mold remains a threat in the universe of Resident Evil.